down to dunk.
And I'm down to dunk.
I'm down to dunk.
This is J-Dub, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lindy Waters, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Mike Muscala, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Jay Will, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Kenneth Williams, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lu Dort, and I'm down to dunk.
We say this is Lu Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
This is Lu Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
Cracklin Oat Bran?
Have you had Cracklin Oat Bran?
No,
No. Okay.
but it's healthy.
Are you a big oat brand guy?
I'm a big Oat Bran guy.
Okay.
I think I would switch it with Fruity Pebbles.
Okay, eat faster. Don't put as much in the bowl.
If you have a gallon of milk, I can also take home. You don't have milk at home?
One cinnamon toast.
Okay.
Crunch.
Yeah. Cereal is great. Yeah.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schleck, reporter of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me today, well, first I got to tell you how I'm feeling today.
But I gotta say, I'm just fired up to be here today. It's pretty cool, pretty damn cool. Woo!
Slam through. And Taylor.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
That's
Anchorman?
Yeah, I was trying to switch it up. I'm trying to make this bit. I'm trying to see if this actually works or if it's just really boring. So now I'm trying to say lines.
So you were Bane as what's
Yeah,
that?
what's,
I was either
what's
going
interesting
Bane or
is-
Sean Connery.
Okay, so I was earlier. I tried it with Sean Connery. And I was like, that does sound like Bane. So we'll just do this, and I bet that it'll come up that they ask if I'm Bane or Sean Connery.
Yeah,
There we go.
Well, we took the bait, man.
good job.
Well, I think Andrew said it first.
Yeah, I'd give it to him.
I believe I did.
Great job. Okay, this is gonna work for Andrew. Saying lines not in the way that they're said in the movies somehow makes more sense to Andrew.
Yeah, that clicks in my brain a little faster. And Jay.
It's Jay.
So the Thunder lose to the Memphis Grizzlies.
What is
Yeah.
how do they play the Thunder better than anybody else? Is it Jaren Jackson Jr.? Is he the game changer?
He was really good. They just packed the paint probably more than anybody else does.
So how much does Chet? I almost called him Che. How much does Chet change? Like their ability to, because Memphis is one of those teams, and Alex kept reminding us of this last year. Is Memphis is a team that will share, like they will be both elite at the same time here in the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis is a little bit of ahead, obviously, as far as age and as far as what they've already accomplished. But I think about that, and because I'm thinking long term, like, all right, so how do the Thunder shift the way they can play against this Memphis team? And I just wonder how much Chet and the guys' development changes their ability to play. I think Chet is a big deal, obviously, to be able to pull JJJ out of the paint, somebody that also can. I mean, we have no rim protection, really.
Yeah.
But man,
That's what
they just turn it into an absolute slog. Like it is just rough.
That's what I think it is, Jay. I think it's the rim. So look at the 3-point percentage for both teams. Both teams went 14 of 38 from three, so 36.8%. And then look at overall field goal percentage. Thunder, 37% from the field. Grizz, 51%. And so the difference is they have centers and bigs that protect the rim, and we do not. And I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I guess that is part of why. Because I'm even thinking more offensively. How come it's so hard for the Thunder offensively? And that's the bigger question for me than, the defensive side of it. Like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, and I get all that. But Dylan Brooks does a great job on Shea. I think between Dylan Brooks and Herb Jones, it's like the two best guys guarding him in the NBA so far. But I don't know. It just is. I guess when he's the only guy you really have to worry about, it makes it way easier to defend them.
Yeah.
And that's how it was against the Grizzlies both times, ultimately, because historically, you've had Isaiah Joe play well in one of these games or Jalen Williams play well in one of these games, but I don't know. It just felt like nobody could do anything.
Yeah. And they hung with them, though. I mean, they hung with them through 3 quarters, and then in the fourth, they kind of pulled away, but nobody else had it going. Shea didn't even have it going. He was 4-14.
Yeah, he was not great.
He was just getting to the line.
You just tell. It's the probably two worst games of the season for Shea were against Memphis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just looking at that's why it's like,
Yep.
He did have career. I'm sorry, my connection is so bad. I think it's on. I keep trying to talk, and I'm like, oh crap, they're already talking. He did have career highs in free throw attempts and free throw makes, 17 of 19. The team only had 23, and he was making the Grizzlies fans moan and groan a little bit, getting all those superstar calls down there, which is hilarious to me because it's like, you guys have Ja. Like, he gets this stuff every game. Is it just annoying to you because someone else is?
Yes.
What's funny is that no one else in the starting lineup took a free throw. The starting lineup took 19 free throws, and it was Shea that took 19 free throws.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that.
I mean, it's pretty funny. And the rest of the team, the bench only took 4 total. They got 23 free throws, and it was all basically Shea. And Grizzlies only shot 16. Shea took more free throws than the entire Grizzlies team. And that's definitely something that is going to serve him really well in the future, especially when there's somebody else to care about. I think you hit it, Jay. It's like, right now, there's nobody else to care about. It's like, okay, Josh Giddey beat us. J-Dub beat us. Poku beat us. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them can do it yet.
Giddey, I loved how honest he was. He's like, that guy is an incredible shot blocker. He's like, there were 2 or 3 times where I thought, I'm going to get this, and then he just threw it.
Yep. Yeah, he's really good. Jaren Jackson is 5 blocks.
He just he's kind of that not in the same maybe, I don't know, but when you think about Anthony Davis in the sense of, I know JJJ has not been quite as injury prone, but he isn't injury prone.
Yeah,
he's missed a lot of time for being this young.
Yeah, just offensively he's not as skilled as AD, but defensively he's probably not that far off. He's a defensive player of the year candidate.
Yeah, well, and this is definitely the way that the Thunder had been playing up to this Grizzlies game. Like, I was really excited to tune in, but after that fourth quarter, in the middle of that fourth quarter, it's like, okay, well, this is kind of a game you don't really want to sit and stew on for very long.
No, you don't. What did you think of life without Dort?
I think he actually, not having him made things more difficult, not just on defense either. I think just having somebody else that's aggressive the way he is, I don't know, man. There's something about Dort that just the offense, it could be a false correlation, right? Like, I get that. It could have just been like on another night against a different team and Dort sits out. It's not a big deal. They can still score. J-Dub, plays well. Giddey can make some of those floaters, whatever. But it's hard to, nobody else had the aggression that Dort normally does. That was the only thing that was probably glaring for me. Like, everybody else deferred more than they probably should have. Although Giddey still shot 13 shots, and J-Dub and everybody just shot poorly.
Yeah.
Jerry shot 4 of 11, J-Dub 3 of 11. So they both got 11 shots, but man, it just, I don't know. Felt like, Yuri got 11 shots, so I'm glad he got some burn. I was really appreciating that. It's like, why? That's what this is. I know I'm kind of scattered on this, and I apologize, but like, why wasn't Jang there?
Killing it in the blue, baby.
But what I'm saying is, like, Kenrich, Lu Dort, both out. This seems like a perfect opportunity to get Jang minutes.
Yeah, this is kind of what the Thunder do, though. It's like they have a plan that is like set out. Like, hey, we're gonna play this many games on the road trip, and then we're gonna send you back to the blue. and this was decided, I would guess, weeks ago or at the beginning of the season. Like, here's Usman Jang's plan for the season. And here's when he's going to be with the G League. Here are the games that we want him to play. I think they wanted him to play against that game against the Kings. So it's just all predetermined stuff, and they don't look at like how he's playing or what's going on. It's just it's done just based on a schedule.
Well, I don't like it.
So I know.
Let somebody know I don't like it.
I'll let him know. I'll let him know that Jay's out on this plan.
Out, man. Just let it ride. We needed him.
Yeah.
He could have been the difference maker.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize Poku played against the Grizzlies.
He was good because I was actually comparing him and Aldama the whole game. I was like, who's more interesting? Okay, it's good. It's still Poku. Poku's still the more interesting player. Good. I like Santi. I like how he plays, though. He had a pass.
Santi's pretty good. Yeah.
He's pretty interesting. He's pretty unpredictable. You know, you look at him and you think you can assume how he's going to play. And then he does not do that. So, Jay, I agree with you, though. I felt like having Dort out almost made the offense too simple or too predictable. Like he adds this kind of chaos to the offense that I think throws defenses off because they're like, what is going on right now? Yeah, when Shea has the ball, you kind of yeah.
No one else will really drive the ball like him, and he's not finishing well around the rim. It's obviously doesn't always result in good things, but he is always trying to create something on the offensive end. He's pull up threes. I mean, he's averaging 14 points per game, and you just remove 14 points per game. And it's like, hey, somebody else go replace this. And Trey played better against the Grizzlies than he had in a little while. But you're not. They didn't easily replace the point production that was there.
I think
am I missing?
Go ahead.
Am I missing something with the Baisley? Because was he injured? Because on stats he just had a DNP. Coach's decision.
Back to back DNPs.
Yeah,
for Bays.
That seems less than encouraging. Hey, so also, this is what's crazy. So about Dort, Dort over his last 10 is shooting almost 40% from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
81% from the free throw line. Those misses at the rim, which against the Hawks, they were so glaring.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing, because he's almost shooting the exact same from the field as he is from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I just think that he was missed. I don't think it's crazy to say that. Against Minnesota, he was really good. Had 18 points against Minnesota, 23 against San Antonio, and that win. Both of those games shooting really well from the 3-point line. I don't know. I just think it's easy to really dump on Dort. He's the lightning rod of frustration, especially since Baisley's getting DNPs. But
dump on Dort.
Dump to Dort. And some of it's real, man. Like his finishing at the rim, especially against Atlanta, was just really bad. But I don't know. At the same time, I'm like, well, I think he's pretty clearly missed against the Grizz.
The two guys I think this season that we've talked about the most that are frustrating at times and that kind of throw things off in the offense it's been Dort and Baisley, right? When Baisley's out, you don't really notice or care that much, except maybe in games like this where it's like we could have used Baisley's shot blocking and defense, right? Mm-hmm. Like I think we would have seen that more in this game. We would have seen at least some different looks on offense from Baisley. He would have been able to just do something with the ball that's different than what Shea was doing the whole game. And then now with Dort, he's gone, and you're like, I do kind of miss Dort actually. Maybe there is something positive to the offense that Dort brings, and maybe we shouldn't be as frustrated with him at times as we are.
Maybe there's a reason they gave him a massive extension and want him to be around for the foreseeable future.
Maybe there's a reason he doesn't get DNPs and Bays does.
Yeah. I think that comparison has been a little ridiculous this year. It's like there's a lot of people that come on Twitter and want to talk about that comp. It's like if that were reasonable, Baisley would still be getting starts for this team because he started almost every game last year. There were just a handful of games that he came off the bench, and he was kind of the token power forward. And it's been Poku sometimes, it's been JRE, it's been Wiggins, it's been J-Dub, but not once have they started Baisley. I think we're just heading down a path where Baze is going to be gone. We've talked about this since the summer, that it just made sense for the Thunder to move on from Baisley. And this clearly can't be what Darius wants either. Like in a season that's a contract year, Darius does not want to have DMPs, especially with the way that the last few years have gone. So, it's probably more fair to Baisley and to the team to let him go at some point, for like a top 40 protected second or just like whatever you can get.
It feels inevitable though. Like that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they get back for it. It may just be some sort of even fake pick, right? Where it's like, oh, it's protected so heavily that it never or conveys to the last possible pick in the second round or something like that. But and I think that's okay. You've mentioned this numerous times, and we've talked about this a lot. Is just the reality that there are going to be guys that we do like, which Baisley's been, in the overall fandom. I think Baisley has been I don't know. Some people love him. Some people think we're too harsh on him. Some people think we're not harsh enough. Some people love him. Some people hate him. But in the end, for me, is what I see with Baisley is like, he's just one of those examples of guys that we may buy into or think has a place to play in the future of this team and just doesn't work out. And the Thunder have to move on. And that's going to be somebody at some point. It's going to be somebody that you're really shocked by, right? Not hopefully to the level of James Harden trade,
Right.
but they just will not have enough room for every single player that they've drafted, nor will they have enough. Like not everybody is going to be as successful as the guys that they've drafted in the last two drafts. Like we've talked about this 2 years ago, the Trey Mann, JRE, Giddey, Wiggins draft. In hindsight, you're like, okay, that's a pretty awesome draft. I think out of all those guys, the guy that you're most probably questioning is Trey Mann. What does his long-term NBA career look like? If he can't find consistency, he's super young, and I'm not saying we give up on him yet because of what his potential skill set is. But when you watch him play, you're like, that could be the guy that we thought, man, I really thought Trey Mann was going to be something. Kind of like I thought Kyle Weaver was going to be something, or whatever kind of insert guy from the past. That
Trey Mann is our Kyle Weaver.
Yeah, I hope Trey Mann isn't Kyle Weaver.
But I think the difference is between this era of the Thunder versus the other one. It's like we really were just kind of joyfully enjoying every single moment. We weren't as in depth thinking about this. Like NBA, and that's what's crazy. In 10 years, NBA has dramatically changed in the way it has been covered. The access that the casual fan has to information for draft, for statistics, for all of that stuff. Like it's dramatically different in the last 10 years. And so we are evaluating these guys in a far tighter way. And so what we're getting to experience is some guys that we are hyped about that are not going to be a part of this team. And it's going to be painful time to time. And I think Baisley, for some, it's not going to be painful for most of the people on this podcast, but I think Baisley will be probably the first guy to go where you're like, dang, man, I really thought he could have done blank, 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 or he could have been blank, blank, blank for the Thunder. And we might see him do that somewhere else when he has a different opportunity in a different role.
Yeah,
definitely. Let's run through the 3-point
That's
shooting.
all I got for today, guys. So I'm out.
All right.
CJ,
Turn your mic off.
Let's run through the shooting in the last 5 games. I want to see if you guys can tell me who has shot the best in the last 5 games for the Thunder.
Are we talking about just overall?
Yeah, let's go overall.
Overall, my guess, number one, in our hearts and in this game, J-Dub.
J-Dub is number 4, 56% from the field, 36% from 3, 27 of 48 in the last 5 games.
Is Poku up there?
Poku is not up there. He's down. He's
Oh
actually
no.
worst shooting percentages in the last 5 games. He is 38% from the field, 27% from 3. He is back to old Poku.
No, he's not. That Memphis, he was good in
Get
the
outta here with
Memphis
that
game.
mess,
Come
man.
on.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's actually
Wiggins.
Wiggins is number 7, 44% from the field, 0% from 3.
I think we're afraid to say Shea. But he's
I
gotta
just know
be
he's
up there.
been a little less efficient.
Yeah, he is 41% from the field in the last 5 games, 20% from 3 of 15. But he's 60 of 64 from the free throw line in the last 5 games.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's so great that we have one of those players again. You know, okay, they can't get it going on the court or like in the rhythm of play, but they realize it quickly and they're like, okay, I just need to get to the line this game.
He just finds a way.
Yeah. Isaiah Joe.
Isaiah Joe. He's up there. He's number 5 on the list.
Okay.
46% from 3, 46% from the field.
Jerry
is down there. 43% from the field, 35% from 3.
All right,
we're running out of people here. Man. Is
it's
Lou
like-
up there?
Lu Dort, no, he's down there. 41% from the field, 40% from 3, as you mentioned, 9 of 22 from 3.
Is anybody in the top 5?
So some of them are small samples, but I've been trying to get you to say one name in particular.
Hold on.
That was missing in the
One
last
name
game.
in particular. That was Kenrich.
Well, Kenrich is up there too. It's only 3 games because he's.
Oh, we talking about my man Gorgie?
Yes, Gorgu Jang,
Gorgie Jang,
who is now on the Thunder. If you've missed it, he's been on the Thunder. No, Usman Jang is in the last 4 games, which he missed the last game because he's in the G League. He's 13 of 19 in the last 4 games.
That's what I'm saying, man. Get him some minutes.
From the field, 62% from 3.
Put him on the court, Mark.
Yeah.
We need him.
His his mate in the draft class, Jay Will, played one game. He played 10 minutes in the last game. 0 of 3 from 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or 0 of 1 from 3. 0 of 3 from the field.
Jay Will's not ready. He just very much looks not ready when he's on the floor.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, it's kind of interesting though, because the last 5 games, they've played pretty well. They're 3-2 in the last 5 games. And you look at who shot well, and like J-Dub has been efficient. Jang was efficient. Kenrich was efficient when he was in the game. Mike has only played 2 of these games, but he's shot the ball well, but on like very, very limited attempts. But then everybody else is just not even really playing that well or shooting the ball that well. This has been one of like the better stretches of the season for the Thunder. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
It is. I mean, this team is finding a way to make it happen, willing themselves to a win.
Well, and they're going to shock the world when they beat the Cavs on Saturday. So,
man, the Cavs are really, really good.
Yeah,
they're so fun. Did you guys watch that Cavs-Lakers game?
No,
I loved it.
They're like legitimately a very good team.
They're so fun. That freaking
prove it to me in the playoffs, Cavs.
They will. I think they will. That Jarrett Allen block on LeBron.
Oh my god! I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not that guy.
You should be, because they will.
Yeah, Jarrett Allen and Mobley will be tough for Shea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a tough.
Not if they get Dort back though.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I mean, I don't
get Usman back.
I think Us is staying in the G League for a hot minute.
Is that real?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Andrew.
Sorry.
What do you know?
Just don't. I'm just
get my hopes up.
Just the messenger. Sorry.
Here's the deal: is you're right. It's going to be problematic against if the Grizzlies were hard with one guy, The Cavs have two elite shot blockers.
Yeah. What did you think of the moment where Steve-O basically just throws Poku down like a rag doll?
Fantastic. Like, I don't know. There were multiple times where between him and Omoyuri, they both just were like falling all over the place and especially on that. Steve has done this for as long as he's been in the NBA's on free throws. When his team is shooting, it's why he's so good at offensive rebounds. Is he just knows how to get his body in the right place and knows how to move people normally without fouling.
Yeah.
And with Poku, it's just like Steve didn't do anything abnormal. Poku he didn't have a sturdiest moment in that game, and so he got just thrown.
Yeah.
I think it was
sturdy.
I think it was Stephen Dolan that showed that clip, and he tweeted, I'm going to need a minute to process my emotions on this or something like that. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, these two guys I love. I loved that Steven Adams just threw him down, but should I feel okay about that? Like,
yeah.
I didn't mind it just because it was Steve.
I know. I felt the exact same way. Everybody was just like,
Yeah. That we're okay with that. We don't need to discuss that.
I think I'm all right with this.
Yeah.
So this team is obviously like, this is Shea's team. Like, this is a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led team. They're running, like, everything runs through him. Can you guess how many more free throws he's taken compared to the second most free
This
throws?
is total.
Total.
100?
It's going to be more than that. I'm going to say closer to 200.
Yeah, it's like 150.
Yeah.
It's 152 more free throws.
Dort's second, right?
Yeah, Dort's second with 79. Shai's taken 231 free throws.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. But then you look at 3-point attempts. Dort's taken double the 3-point attempts that Shai has.
Shai's been so
Dort
picky
has probably
with when
taken as
he-
many as like Stephen Curry, right?
Not as much as Steph, but
That's
he's
just what it
taken a
feels
lot.
like.
He's taken a lot. Yeah, I just think that just the free throw number is just wild. And, you know, we're talking about the guy who's leading the league and I think total attempts at the free throw line. But still, it's just like a kind of a jarring number to look at where it's just like, goodness gracious. It's just, he just lives at the line right now.
Yeah.
He's third in total free throws, just behind Luka, who's at 239, and then Giannis, who's at 244. In 3 less games, Giannis is 3 less games than both Luka and Shai, and he's taken.
I do vaguely remember. I mean, this would have been probably 2 years ago, maybe last year, where we were always talking about just wait till he starts getting those superstar calls.
Yeah,
and here we are.
It's here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and he's focusing on that part of his game more this year too. It's so obvious. I mean, even last year there were a lot of, we talked about this, but a lot of times he would try to bail himself out and bail the offense out with a step back 3 or a side step 3 or pull up 3 or whatever, like these jump shots. And he's so picky about those now. Like he does not just pull into one of those anymore.
Yeah. I mean, overall, he's still shooting 50% from the field, 32% from 3. Like he is he is mindful of his shot selection and is, you know, trying to get to the lane, trying to get to the free throw line, you know, trying to just score around the rim and in the mid range. So it's been an impressive season for Shai. All right, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we will continue to talk about the Thunder team.
The Thunder team.
And we're back after that quick break. Are you gonna do a Tayshawn's factoid right now?
Yeah, I have one for us.
Tayshawn's factoid, bigger in victory. Tayshawn's factoid, bigger in victory.
Hey, I'm Tayshawn. This is my feature did 3. Unfortunately, this is not about the Thunder team. This is the Boston Celtics are still the number 1 team in the league. I think everyone agrees on that.
Yep.
But something I found interesting, I was looking at leaders, and they have 5 players in the top 20 on 3-point field goal percentage. Can you guys name them? Let's see quickly if you can go through who those 5 players are from the Boston Celtics in the top 20 3-point percentage for the league.
Jason Tatum.
No.
All right. Grant Williams.
Yes, he is 3rd in the league.
Malcolm Brogdon.
He is number 1 in the league.
Number 1.
Yep.
Brogdon. What a pickup.
What
I
a
know.
pickup.
Sheesh.
So that's 2. There's 3 more.
Sam Hauser.
Yes, he is 9th in the league.
Jalen?
No.
No. I think Horford's up there.
Horford is 5th. So they have 4 in the top 10 in the league, 3-point field goal percentage. There's one more top 20. And this is like a funny one considering the discourse around this player, especially last year.
Oh,
Marcus Smart?
No.
Derek White.
Derek White.
Yeah.
Derek White is tied with Michael Porter Jr. He's shooting 42.7% from 3.
Wow.
So I just thought it was crazy. I was like, man, that team is so good. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. And yes, of course, those are the top 2 guys. But they are so deep. I mean, they just have like so many guys that are good at basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's insane.
That's insane. And like Horford, like how much longer could Horford play in the league? Right now, it looks like he's got 3 or 4 more years.
Well, they just signed him to a 2-year extension, right?
He's got an extension. He's 36. He doesn't.
And the only reason he's still in the NBA is because of his 1 year in the Fountain of Youth here in Oklahoma City.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Yep. You're welcome, Al Horford. You're welcome, Boston Celtics. You don't get this version of Horford without us. So take that.
I saw a Brogdon quote the other day, and I thought was interesting. And he was saying, "I've never played on a team that plays this together and makes everything this cohesive."
Yeah,
which I thought was very interesting because that last year I think it was his last year with the Bucks or the year before his last year, that team was really good. And I thought that how they played was really good. I mean, that was when Middleton was going off, Brogdon was going off, Giannis was really good. So I thought that was it felt kind of like a shot at them. And he's probably mad at them for trading him, but.
But say, that was it doesn't matter because the Bucks still won the championship, but when they chose Eric Bledsoe over Malcolm Brogdon,
it's a bad choice.
It was a bad choice.
It was weird.
But also, like Brogdon has admitted this year that he is better suited in a role like this because when he has to take on more, his body can't handle it, and like he breaks down and gets injured and just like can't handle like the minutes load that he is being asked, like in Indy and then even in Milwaukee. So it's worked out for old Malcolm.
No, it's perfect. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really good. Boston is really good.
Yeah, they're very.
Who is your Wheel of Fandom team this week?
Phoenix.
Okay, so you got to watch them play that Boston game.
They had a bad week. They had a really bad week.
That's the curse, man.
They lost to the Rockets this week.
Oh,
yeah, it's real.
And then the Rockets just lost to the Spurs.
Yeah,
and the Clippers lost to Orlando. It's very confusing. This NBA season's wild.
Clippers lost to the Heat last night too. That was such a boring game. I looked at that coming up. I was like, "Oh God, these are 2 teams that should be good, and this game's going to be trash."
The Heat are not fun, at all to watch. I'm like out on any Heat experience.
Take John's factoid bigger in victory. Take John's factoid bigger in victory.
All right, it is time for some Twitter questions.
Twitter questions. You got questions and you ask them on Twitter. Now we answer them for you. This is Twitter questions. Now let's get down to it.
Our first Twitter question comes from at Giddy for Giddy. Last year, we talked about how great it was that Lu was attacking the rim more often. This year, we criticize him for it. Has Lu regressed in this department, or is he just taking more shots around the rim and it seems worse?
Man, I don't have any comparable stats. I know that you can figure that out. I think for me it's just there's other guys enough where I wish he wasn't taking the quantity of shots that he's taking, especially when it feels forced like it does.
Yeah.
But I do think that the Thunder lack that aggressiveness when he's not playing. And we kind of alluded to that or talked about that earlier in the podcast. And so,
yeah,
I don't know what he's shooting comparably. It felt like it was better early, but it has trailed off recently.
So he shot 19% of his shots came from 0 to 3 feet last year. This year it's 34%. So a pretty significant jump in shots right at the rim. And he was shooting 61% last year and 56 this year. So there's been a regression, but I also think that volume is another thing. So shot selection has always been kind of a problem for Lu and something that he's had to work on quite a bit. So I don't know. It's not something that I'm particularly worried about because we talk about how tough it is for Shea. It is also tough for Lu Dort to finish around the rim whenever they're packing the paint like they are. So they need an outside threat. They need somebody else to care about that. And I think that will help not only Shea, but Lu as well. But yeah, that just kind of is what it is for now. Let's see. This is from It's Dat Boy Parker. Does this season impact your over-under predictions for next season?
Yes.
I mean, it should. I mean, every season should impact the next season.
So what is this question trying to assume? Like, are you seeing things that make you more excited about the future?
Yeah, I think it's a question about positivity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And because I'm a positive guy myself, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So set it right now. Let's set the over-under right now.
40.
I was going to go 44.
Wow. Whoa. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the point of over-under is it's got to make you challenge to either say over or under.
Exactly.
Under 40.
Under 40? They're going 40 games this year, Andrew.
They're going 40 this year. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. They could shock the world. And be. I mean, that Thunder team went from like 20 something wins to 50 wins. I don't know. I don't expect them to do that, but
I just think there's enough guys.
37 wins.
There's enough guys that will. I don't know. I mean, I think this is the point of the question: is looking at J-Dub. What does J-Dub's second year look like?
Yeah,
you see some of these guys that take these leaps, and could he be a guy that all of a sudden he's your starting three? And I don't know, like, what does Giddey figure out over the next year? And then obviously we're not even talking about the fact that we'll add Chet plus whoever Cam Whitmore draft in 2023, Cam Whitmore or Cam Whitmore maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe
that Whitmore kid,
maybe Cam Whitmore or something. So I don't know, man. There's just a lot to be excited about with the potential of this team, obviously, and I think that 40 games is not out of the realm of possibility. The only thing that challenges that in my mind is how deep the NBA has become.
Yeah.
Like even looking this year, for the most part, everybody's kind of packed in the middle record wise. And so, but I think 40 makes sense.
Mm-hmm. From at Pepsi United, since Poku was granted guy status, he's scored 7.9 points per game on 38% from the field, 27% from three.
This is somebody.
1.3 turnovers, 0.3 steals, 0.4 blocks. Is there anyone else to blame for this besides Andrew?
Let's say this is like somebody that like earmarked that. Like,
yeah,
Andrew said he's a guy. Let me just follow him over the course.
I'll take the blame. I'll take the blame for it.
Yeah, it's your fault.
I've done this before. I did. Poor Deontay Burton playing for the Stockton Kings the other night against Usman. You know, I'll take the blame for that one too. I'm sorry, everybody. At Brian and Bailey, do you guys think that Shea will make the All-Star team this year?
Yeah, I feel like he will. It seems like there's a national narrative around him now that's picked up just right on time. So I think he'll make it.
Yeah, I mean, the only challenge is how many other guys there are. And I think that here's my bet. Like if I was going to make an actual prediction, I think what will happen is Shea will be just on the outside looking in, but somebody will not go because of an injury. And Shea will kind of like that year that Paul George made it. It would have been the first year he was here, maybe. But yeah, that's how I think he gets in, just because there is such a glut at the guard position.
Yeah. A glut? I've never heard that word before.
Is that a word?
I don't know.
On,
you said it so confidently. I just thought I've never heard it.
Yeah, it's definitely a word.
Yeah, so glut is an excessively abundant supply of something.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's been a glut. Wait.
Yeah, good.
I mean, I think he makes it. Like, I think
he's a glut for it, dude. I think there's no way in glut he doesn't make it.
I think he makes it just outright, because I think he makes it over a guy like Paul George and a guy like Anthony Edwards, who I think we both thought would be there. I think he makes it over Dame, who hasn't had a great season so far. I think it's like Shea and Booker, and I guess part of it depends on, like, do you list Luka as a guard? You know, if Luka's a guard, then maybe it becomes a little bit tougher. But like Luka, Curry, Ja, Booker, like those are the only guys that I think, they like definitely deserve it and like should definitely be there over Shea.
Where is the All-Star game this year? Salt Lake City?
Utah.
You going?
Don't plan to.
Come on, man.
Be cool to go though. I don't know.
Tell your bosses you want to go.
I want to go.
Any chance in the next 15 years that the Oklahoma City could host it?
No.
20 years.
Maybe.
15?
No.
Andrew, we've had a precipitous climb as a city.
We need more hotels.
The ranks of cities.
Need more hotels.
We got a lot of hotels, man.
Think of how many hotels we've got in the past 5 years. Downtown. 3 years.
Maybe 5?
We need more.
Oh, hotels?
More hotels.
Oh, there's like 25 hotels now, man.
Yeah, just get us some more hotels, and that'd be crazy if the All-Star game was in Oklahoma City. I just don't see it happening. Yeah. Let's see. At Joseph, a forecast. When the time comes, Poku and Chet on the court at this. When the time comes, Poku and Chet on the court at the same time. Is that the goal, or we use Poku interchangeably as the Chet backup?
No, I think they'll play a lot at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see Poku's role evolving much differently than it already kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You just hope that he just continues to improve and get better, and like this is kind of who he is. Like kind of a corner 3 shooter, defender, somebody that's just kind of, linking the team on both offense and defense. Yeah.
Some ball skills.
Yeah, definitely. At Me Love Thundamo. Talk me down. Why should I still be excited about Trey Mann? Why does Isaiah Joe seem like a better compliment than Mann to this team?
Okay, I've been having this same feeling. Even just watching that Memphis game, there were so many. I know Trey Mann's stats look like he ended up shooting, I think, 50% from the field and from 3. But the shots that he missed were like painful. It felt like you really need to make those shots, not these shots. These shots, yeah, they show up on the stat board, but it just watching the game, it just doesn't feel like he's hitting when he needs to hit. Does that make sense? And Isaiah Joe only hits when he needs to hit.
Well, and I think, I agree with that. I mentioned this actually last week. Is Isaiah Joe shoots like you want Trey Mann to. I think the difference is man, y'all can convince me otherwise, but I do think that Isaiah Joe is a more limited offensive player than what we think Trey Mann can be. Now, Trey hasn't proven it in the sense of consistency, but with his twitchiness, his ability, the step back three is like an elite skill. He can't make it consistently, but it's an elite ability to get there. And when Trey is playing well, he can finish at the rim as well. And the floater game, there's a lot of kind of variations to it that I think make Trey's potential higher than Isaiah Joe. But there's no question in my mind right now, Isaiah Joe is who would I feel more comfortable taking the three when it matters the most? I mean, Isaiah Joe without question.
Yeah, I mean, this just comes down to like percentage this season. I mean, Isaiah Joe is the best on the Thunder from three, 45.5%. Trey Mann, the worst on the team, 29.2% on the season.
So Isaiah Joe, like, he kind of reminds me of a little bit more athletic Anthony Morrow. Like, not to that elite level yet, because we just don't know. But he just reminds me a little bit of that kind of style of guy.
Yeah, and he's not, excuse me, he's not like super small either. You know, like he's not Seth Curry small. You know, he's like 6'4".
Yeah, and he feels like he can hold up on defense at least a little bit more than Morrow could.
Yeah, he's played pretty well. Yeah, he can slide his feet a lot better than Morrow could. Yeah, I mean, is there a chance that in 3 years it's Isaiah Joe that's coming off the bench for the Thunder and not Trey Mann? Yes, there's a chance of that. Because it's all about results with these shooters, right? Like you can talk about process over results, but like what it comes down to is like, can you make a shot? You know? And Trey is 2 years younger. He's got time. No one's given up on Trey Mann. Like that's just not happening. But you know, Isaiah Joe's coming for a spot. He's got a guaranteed contract with the Thunder, and he's played well. I mean, you can't deny it. But you know, I still think the most likely outcome is that probably neither are like super impactful on the team in a few years.
What?
But
I'm out on everything you say now.
I mean, it's it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough to find like legit minutes for guys. We're talking about bringing in somebody in this next draft class. We're talking about bringing in Chet. We're talking about keeping guys like Aaron Wiggins and Kenrich on the team and them playing significant roles.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. I think that's why it's so important for if Isaiah Joe does develop even more and that 3-point eliteness is real, then I think that you've got to, he's going to get minutes.
Yeah.
Like they're going to need somebody that can come in and just hit shots and cannot be a sieve on defense. And so either one of those guys, I do still like the potential of Trey Mann being that sixth man that just kind of comes in, gives you some quality minutes and can score. I don't know, man, like a Jamal Crawford, Lou Williams type guy. Like, why couldn't that be Trey's future?
I mean, I think it definitely could. He just has to make shots.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm saying like that's the ideal version of what Trey becomes. And I do think he's a little more at least intentional. I don't think Mark would allow a guy his with his age to be as checked out on defense as Jamal and Lou were with regularity. But I don't know, like that's the ideal version of what Trey becomes. And so there's definitely a place for him there. But he also could be somebody, if he does develop that direction, he could be the trade piece that somebody would love to have that you could pair with some picks to get the guy that you need. You know, like I don't know. I believe in the way he can get to his shot, but he has to start making them, man. It is not just missing, but bad misses. There's another one in that Grizzlies game where he actually shot decently well, I think, but in that Grizzlies game where he threw it, like it barely even touched the rim, just hammered off the backboard. You know, it's like, and that's a confidence thing. That's what makes me the most nervous about him is there is very much a mental part to him where you can see his confidence wane and it just it's just bad.
Yeah.
That's why for me, like if I was defending or if I was playing Trey, like he needs to get an easy first bucket and his whole night will be different based on that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because he hit a little jump shot early against Memphis, and I was like, okay, this could be a Trey game.
Yeah. Yeah, he played well against Memphis. And like the numbers are still good with Trey Mann on the floor. Like the team just performs better overall. But like the tandem, whenever they played 92 minutes, Isaiah Joe and Shea this season, and they're a plus 19 net rating for the season. Offensive rating of 123, and then a defensive rating of 104. I mean, it's pretty good. And it's just kind of proven through the numbers too, like when he plays with Lindy Waters, which hasn't been as much, like 34 minutes total, but they're plus 25. You know, when Shea plays with somebody that can shoot the basketball, it's like it's a good thing. And you know, he and Wiggins, like that two-man tandem, is very, very good as well. So, you know, it's not that complicated. You know, that's kind of the thing with this is like this is not rocket science. You know, it's put shooting around one of the best free throw shooters on high volume and a guy that gets into the paint at will, and it will help. So,
yeah, I mean, you just watch players or teams defend them, and Memphis is the prime example. Put everybody close to the lane and dare the Thunder to beat you from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
And for 3 quarters against Memphis, the Thunder were doing it. And then it just fell off a cliff in the fourth.
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. Let's do a couple more questions. What's the best food to eat while watching a basketball game at KCPEN?
I need some context. Are we talking at the game or are we talking
Let's
at
go
home?
both. At home and then at the game.
So at the game, I'm pretty boring. I'm probably going sporting events and hot dogs are kind of my thing, I guess.
Schwab dogs?
Schwab dogs. Schwab dog, diggity dog.
Diggity dog, diggity dog.
So that's probably what I'm going with. But I've tried multiple things there. I've done burgers at the arena. They're okay. I've done like their chopped brisket. That's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm intrigued by these little personal pan pizzas that people get.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you eat when you're there? Candy?
You know, I'm trying to stay away from candy for the most part.
Boy. You still on that sugar train?
I mean, I'm doing some sugar here and there, but trying to stay away from it as much as
How's
possible.
the cereal intake, man?
Less.
Dramatically down?
Yeah. Turns out there's sugar in cereal. Turns out. Found that out recently.
You know, you big Obrey man?
I'm a big Obrey guy. I'm snacking on peanuts mostly.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just regular peanuts?
Yeah, they got little packets of regular Planters peanuts.
Yep.
In the media dining room.
The dangerous one is when you convince yourself the trail mix isn't just packed full of sugar.
Oh yeah. That's
like,
another
trail mix. It's healthy. It's like, no, it's just M&Ms.
All of it is really bad. Even the one with M&Ms, this is going a little deep on trail mix, but like the one with M&Ms is usually the one that has the least amount of sugar.
Yeah, but if you start going to like the dry fruits and the
dry fruits, that's going to get you. It'll bite you.
It will.
Stay away. Tons of sugar. At Kiwi Thunder fan, choose. Oh, at home. What are you eating at home?
So truthfully, is most Thunder games are at 7 p.m.
Yep.
I'm done eating by then. I try to be done eating by then.
Yeah.
If I do, I'm snacking on something. So we do a lot of the what's it called? Like the boom
chicken
popcorn.
pop.
Yeah. But we do like the kettle corn version.
Oh, it's so good.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
So good.
So I'm not sure my wife loves it. But all the snacks that we get for my son for his normal life, being a 13-year-old boy, is like, that's my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So we do like Ritz crackers with, like the cheese Ritz crackers or those popcorn things, these little Pringle things. So if I do that, last night I had a PB&J while watching A little bit of, which is a mistake. Like that, my wife came out. I was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich." Like shame, but anyway. But that's like if I'm really splurging, a PB&J sandwich at night will be the go-to.
That's amazing. Yeah, I've really been into frozen grapes recently. You do frozen grapes?
This is too much information, but I have incredibly sensitive teeth.
Oh,
So I can't do
Can't-
something like that. I need like room temperature grapes.
yeah. Frozen grapes, better. It's upgraded.
I can imagine, but it's like I would have to wait for it to warm up in my mouth before I could chew it, or to
sad.
swallow them whole. Or is the point to swallow them whole?
No. Ooh, these are delicious. Yeah. At Kiwi Thunder fan, choose Poku with Dort's muscles or Giddy with Isaiah Joe's shooting. That's an easy one for me.
I'm giddy, man. Oh no,
Yeah,
Poku.
I mean Giddy with.
I mean, Poku is, but a swole Poku is not. I don't know
nothing-
what his NBA skill becomes, but no,
I feel like
Giddy
he-
with
I
shooting.
feel like
like
he
that.
loses all of his powers if he just bulks up like that. Like he can't move.
He would have to go into a different like profession.
Yeah,
He'd have to be like an action movie star or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. Giddy to be able to shoot at 40+% from the 3-point line. Come on.
That'd be unbelievable. Yeah. Penny in the chat says that she puts lime juice with them before she freezes the grapes. I got to try that. Thanks for the tip.
So Penny, the question is, and I've been evaluating this with a lot of work in the last few years, is real lime juice or do you buy bottle stuff? Because if you talk to a bartender, there is a stark difference in freshly squeezed lime juice versus store-bought, but freshly squeezed is also so much a pain in the rear end, like to get enough of it. So just asking a question.
Yeah.
Got to go real. I know it's
think
better, but
I go real. Yeah. Yeah.
squeezing
Definitely.
limes.
At About to Dunk, I'm curious about the strength of the upcoming draft. For example, if OKC ends up with the 5th through 7th pick and Houston calls on draft night offering Jabari Smith for the pick, what is the response?
I mean, Houston's not going to do that probably, but
if they did, I'd say
I'd stick with the draft pick probably.
I would too. I'm not big on Jabari Smith.
I probably still am. Like, I love his potential skill set for what this Thunder team looks like they're building. Like, to have a 4 that could play next to Chet that is a good defender and supposedly a good spot-up shooter, limited everywhere else, but he's the best version of what we hope Poku can be,
Yeah.
In theory for both of them. They're both super young, and we don't know what Jabari is. He hasn't had a great start to his career, but he's playing in Houston. So,
yeah.
No, I'd go with whoever it is, especially 5 to 7. You're looking at some guys that probably would have been in the top 3 in last year's draft.
I think I'd rather have Brandon Miller than Jabari. I think I'd rather have Cam Whitmore for sure than Jabari. And one of those guys is probably going to be available at 5 because like Ahmed Thompson's probably going in the top 3 or 4.
Yeah. What's his brother's name? Asar.
I mean, he'll be in that range too. So I think I'd rather roll the dice. I'm not, and I like you said at the beginning, like Houston's not going to do that, but I'm not super high on, especially with this Thunder team, where you're being asked to make decisions. Like every Thunder player is being asked to make decisions, and like Jabari just can't do that. Like that's, and maybe he develops it over time, but it's not natural for him to be a decision maker. Like that's why, like there's, right now this Thunder team could have Kuminga and Jabari Smith on their team rather than Giddey and Chet. But
they made a decision based on the way they want to build a team. And it's hard. Like I think for Jabari Smith particularly is I don't think, and maybe this is total homer bias against the Rockets, but I don't think he's in the proper place for him to actualize who he could be. Like, I'm still really high on Jabari.
Yeah.
But man, I just don't love I know Houston ran over Oklahoma City. I get it, but they don't give me the most confidence in their ability to get the best version of these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, Jabari needs to be around like an elite passing point guard.
Yeah.
You know.
And they don't have that, and doesn't look like they're going to get that or want that.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, if they get Scoot Henderson, then things change pretty quickly for them. Like, he'd be actually pretty perfect for them.
Yeah, Scoot and Jalen. That's a pretty fun little
to kind of link
backcourt.
everything together. You know, Wemby, obviously you want Wemby, but like, you can make the argument that like Scoot Henderson would be actually
a better fit
for what Houston needs, because they just need somebody that can get other guys open shots. And they just don't have that at all. Let's see. Maybe one more question. Oh, at Zach Deeg. Y'all watch much of the World Cup? And what Thunder player do you think would make the best soccer player?
I mean, is Dort the easy one to say?
That's what I was thinking too.
Just because he's probably the most athletic.
It's just a beast of a man.
He is. And like, I just watched, he didn't make the World Cup roster, but there's a guy named Daryl DK who's from Edmond, actually played at Edmond North, but now he plays in West Bromwich or Bromwich. Anyway, he's got just this skill. He's just physically, athletically more dominant than almost anybody he plays with on the field. I wish he'd have made the World Cup roster just to see how he does in that environment. But he is, that's kind of that Dort. I just think when you get him on the field, just his ability to use, or on the pitch, to give him the opportunity to just use his athleticism.
Yeah.
But, there's space for all of those guys, like a Trey Mann kind of type guy who's super quick and athletic as well.
Yeah.
Probably has great ball skill, would have great ball skill.
Yeah.
If that was the sport he emphasized, you would think. But I don't know, man. You watch any World Cup?
I mean, I watched the U.S.
Yeah, that's what I did too. I've turned on a few, and I probably will watch the quarterfinals this weekend, but I don't know. It's hard, man. I like following U.S. It's a lot of fun. We watched that. That made my son and we watched the Netherlands game, but I don't know. I don't know anything about soccer, and so I'm like, all right.
Yep. Goals are good. That's what I know.
Yep.
About soccer. Okay. Excuse me. We'll have another show for you guys on Monday. The Thunder play the Cavs on Saturday. That is a pretty scary one, but I'm very intrigued to see how the Thunder bounce back with the way they played against Memphis. I think they obviously could play better. So I'm intrigued to see any matchups that you're watching for in that game, Jamon.
No. Like it. I think that I don't know. I mean, it's just every position that they match up on. Like, if Dort plays, like, yeah, obviously I'd like to see Dort, Donovan Mitchell. Like, I like the idea of that.
Mm-hmm.
But the bigs are just such a bad matchup for the Thunder. Like,
they're pretty dominant.
Jared Allen and Mobley. You have nobody on the Thunder. You're like, oh, I really can't wait to see Jared Allen versus Muscala. It's like, nope. Or Jerry, who I love, and I love the fact that now we call him Jerry. Like, I love what he does, but that's not something you're intrigued by. Like Poku and Mobley, I guess, but that's
not it.
No. So it's like, no, nothing
really.
really.
Just Shea against this defense, because this is the best defense.
And I'm always intrigued, like, what is J-Dub? What can J-Dub do? He was not great against the Grizzlies, but he's been so good over the last, 10 or 15 games where it's like, can he bounce back? What does he look like when he's the one that's going to be leaned on? I think he's going to have to pick up the offensive load if they have any shot of doing this against the Cavs. But it's not a great matchup for the Thunder. And I think it's on purpose. Like, if Sam really wanted to make this team competitive this year, he would have already added some sort of center for this team.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't. It's like, why would I invest anything in what is clearly a rebuilding, continuation?
And when the center on the team is,
Yeah.
Michelle.
Yes. Like we
So
don't need to
just,
invest in,
do it.
and I think they will. I'd still wonder if they'll add a bigger body, or will they just expect JRE to help with some of the physical side of it and then allow Chet to play more off ball. But anyway, I think at some point they'll figure that out. But Chet is still an elite rebounder too, even though he doesn't have the size.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I still think like you have to keep in mind, the whole fan base has to keep in mind, like this is going to be still a pretty slow rebuild. And like that's the intent behind what's going on. So
yeah, it's just hard to you're absolutely right. I completely agree with that. But it's hard when you see these glimpses this year when you're like,
yeah. No, there's definitely encouraging signs.
You have what you think is a superstar. You have what you hope is going to be another one that comes off the bench.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then you have the pieces around like J-Dub that's developing. There's enough encouragement this year where you're like, it doesn't feel as far off as it has felt.
Yeah.
And it's only been, 2 years, really? 3?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right. Thanks so much for listening to our show. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you guys again on Monday.